Families in Chicago mourning tonight as shootings claim the lives of multiple teenagers.
And it comes as many of them were looking forward to the first day of school.
So again, we hear about Chicago, the crime, the violence, the shootings, the murders. This city is getting worse and worse by the day. We thought Lori Lightfoot was bad because she could care less about the residents there. She did nothing about crime. And then Brandon Johnson, the progressive Democrat, was elected because he was going to save everybody. And now, again, we have over a dozen people shot, all under the age of 19 years old, in one weekend, because Brandon Johnson and his woke policies wants to put social workers on the street, crisis intervention personnel. He doesn't want to put more police. He wants people to show up to emergency calls unarmed to try to talk to the people so they can solve their differences. That doesn't work. So now Brandon Johnson is taking another step by appointing a new police superintendent.
Today, a new chapter begins on this incredible journey to build a better, stronger, and safer Chicago. After a very deliberate and thorough and transparent process, Chief Larry Snelling has been chosen to lead the Chicago Police Department. In this role, he will build upon his 3 decades of service, most recently, of course, as Chief of the Bureau of Counterterrorism. We will work together to continue to build the partnerships that ensures that every single voice is heard, that every resident feels safe, and those who are most impacted by crime in our city have a seat at the table in influencing the solutions that our communities deserve.
So the woke mayor appoints a new police superintendent, and you heard him. We're beginning a new chapter to build a better, stronger, safer Chicago. And you saw the man standing there like a stiff military person. He might be, he might not be, but just the look. Yeah, he looks solid. He looks squared away, and he probably is, and he's probably a good cop. But that is not going to stop young people from doing what they do. Appointing a new police superintendent is a start. It's a step in the right direction. But also hiring more police officers, training police officers for crisis intervention, for mental health intervention. That's what police need in Chicago, because a lot of the people who are committing these crimes are mentally ill people, and a lot of them are drug addicted. And no, that's not the police officer's job to be a mental health counselor, but it does help if they're trained properly to intervene during a mental health crisis. So a new police superintendent can preach all he wants, no tolerance. He's going to have a broad policy that everybody's going to be treated fairly, or everybody's going to be arrested who commits crimes. And we all know in Brandon Johnson's Chicago, that will not be the case. Lori Lightfoot didn't let the police do their job, and Brandon Johnson is not going to let the police do their job, because if you recall, he calls mobs of unruly people large gatherings when there's hundreds of young people jumping on cars, breaking windows, looting stores. He doesn't think that's a mob scene. He doesn't think that's a crime. He thinks it's a large gathering, and all these young people need is some social programs, maybe a rec center, or maybe some after-school programs. No, what they need is to be put in handcuffs and be put in jail for a little while, because maybe, just maybe, some of these kids will be so scared being locked up that they might change the way they act and the way they think when they get released. Chances are, locking some of them up may save a few people. It may straighten them out, okay? But hiring a militant-looking police superintendent that you think is going to save the day is not the answer to the crime in Chicago, nor is Brandon Johnson the answer with his progressive, woke policies. He's big on the immigrants. He's a sanctuary city, and his own residents have already given him much backlash because of it. He wants to spend millions of dollars to protect the immigrants, to give them housing, to give them food, to give them whatever they want. But he doesn't want to spend the money to take care of the residents who've been living in that city since they were young kids. He wants to be a woke Democrat. Look at me, the people elected me, and I'm going to save the city. And I'm here to tell you, he's not going to save the city, because no progressive Democrat has any good policy that's going to make anything better. They want to give for free. They don't want people to get jobs. If you don't want to work, we're going to send you a check. Stay home. He needs job training, job creation. He needs to do something to stop the crime. And all the crime is gang violence. But they'll call them groups. They're not gangs. They're groups or large gatherings. Gang violence, black on black crime, runs rampant in Chicago, in Philadelphia, in New York, in California. But these Democrat politicians don't see it that way. When blacks are killing blacks, Black Lives Matter doesn't come out of the woodwork. The politicians don't say a word. But if there's another ethnicity, say a Caucasian or a Hispanic, if they get involved in a crime and God forbid shoot a black person, then you hear about it on the mainstream media, because a black person was killed by someone else who wasn't black. It's all hypocrisy. They are all failures, in my view. They are doing nothing for the citizens that they supposedly care about and want to represent. And now Brandon Johnson is facing the backlash because his own citizens are coming out against him, because they're already seeing that all of his woke progressive policies are doing nothing, and the crime rate is continuing to climb and climb and climb. And it's not going to decline until he authorizes the new police superintendent to hire dozens more police officers, train them properly, and put them on the street and let them do their job, which is arresting criminals. I don't care if they're 10 years old. I don't care if they're 70 years old. They're committing crimes. They need to be locked up and prosecuted properly. But they got the no bail, low bail. That's doing nothing but putting the criminal back on the street. And Chicago is a poster child city for low bail or no bail. And Brandon Johnson supports it. The young people, they make mistakes. No, they're out there killing people. And your militant new police superintendent, I hope he looks like he knows what he's doing, but looks don't do anything. It's actions. And if he doesn't take action, the murders, the shootings, the stabbings, the burglaries, the carjackings, you name it, they're going to keep piling up under this woke administration who, in my view, just another Democrat who doesn't care about the citizens, just wants to be in politics and say, look at me, I'm the mayor. Well, your own residents are all set with you already, so you're not doing anything in the eyes of the people who voted for you. So smarten up and stop protecting the law-abiding citizens in Chicago, and stop protecting the criminals by arresting them and letting them back out the next day to commit more crimes. That doesn't solve a thing. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So thanks for tuning in. If you haven't liked this video, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and hit the notification bell, share this video with someone. I'd appreciate that. Hope everybody's healthy and safe, and I'll see you soon.